You know overhead flexibility is crucial for lifting, sports, and everyday life. But do you feel like no matter how much you stretch, foam roll, smash, or massage down your shoulders, it's like you're running into a brick wall at the top? Like in this position right here, right? Now stay tuned because I'm going to show you why all those modalities aren't cutting it, and more importantly, I'll show you what you can do to finally make some permanent changes in your overhead flexibility. Sound good? But first, I want to invite you to join me for the Healthy Shoulder 10-Day Challenge, where you'll get the full system for increasing overhead flexibility and range in less than 10 minutes a day. The link is below, so be sure to check that out. All right, ready to get into today's coaching? Let's roll. What's up, guys? Coach Matt here, and as a former meathead turned mobility guy, I'm on a mission to help anyone who enjoys being active move freely without the fear of aches, pains, or tightness holding them back. And after coaching thousands of folks with limited overhead range, what I've seen is that the difference between those who seem to have limitless flexibility and those who are constantly stuck is internal rotation. Now, internal rotation is this movement here, where you start to rotate the hand in toward the midline. It doesn't matter if you're here or if you're here, it's still internal rotation, where this kind of shoulder rotates just like that. Now, unfortunately, for years, we've completely ignored this movement, let alone trying to increase its range of motion. So how does this work? The shoulder is a ball and socket joint, which means it's supposed to have an incredible amount of movement. But for some reason, most people end up only training it up and down, in and out, kind of like a Lego guy, right? This isn't going to cut it. If you lack rotation, specifically internal rotation, all those other movements of the shoulder will be compromised, especially when going overhead. This is why everything you've tried hasn't been working. Internal rotation is the king here. Now, I could spend a whole hour explaining this in more detail, but just know, if you want more overhead flexibility, you need more internal rotation. So let's dive in and get moving. To increase your internal rotation, we're going to stretch and strengthen the tissue that produces it. We'll stretch for 2 minutes and then go in and strengthen that new range. Now, strengthening what you just stretched is the key here, because if you don't develop strength in the area you just stretched, that loosey-goosey, flexible feeling will go away. The only equipment you're going to need today is like a small towel, a rope, or one of these nifty little stretch straps. It doesn't matter what you have, you just need something that you can kind of pull on a little bit that doesn't have any give. So the first thing I want you guys to do is I want to test our overhead position. That way we can kind of see the impact that this exercise has. So I like doing it from the tall kneeling position, which is what I'm in right now. But you could obviously do this standing, or you could even do it sitting. But the key here is you want to make sure your glutes are engaged and your ribs are down. So when you go into overhead flexibility, what a lot of people do is they go here and they're like, oh, I can't go anymore. Oh, but look, now my arms are over my head. But where's that movement coming from? It's coming from my lower back, right? Or they'll do this and they'll jut their head forward, and now that movement's not coming from my shoulders either. So to get a real honest look at what your overhead is, kind of squeeze your glutes a little bit, brace your abs like somebody's going to poke you in the stomach, put your head over your spine, and just go straight up. Boom, right there. Don't bend your arms, just see where you're at. A good range of motion is like you should be able to be right in line with your ear. Now if you don't have that, it's all good, but that's why you're here, and that's why we're going to do this exercise. So now we're going to take this towel, or the strap, and you're going to put it behind your back. Almost like, that sounds kind of funny, but like you're being arrested, right? You're going to put some handcuffs on. So you're going to take this, take your hands, put them together, and then go find a position that feels really comfortable. You see where my hands are resting? Now, if you're more flexible than me, you would just have your hands higher up your back. But if this position caused a little pain or pinching, you would just simply put your hands a little lower. So go find the position that feels really good. We're going to set the clock for 2 minutes. And we're going to sit here nice and easy in this stretch. So the way this works, I don't want anything to move right now. So I want to be relaxed but stretching. So watch my shoulders. They just kind of drop. My elbows are kind of neutral. My wrists are flat. I don't want to see my elbows flapping like chicken wings here. That's not the goal here. We want to be nice, just relaxed. And you should be feeling just a nice stretch across the front of the shoulder and the pec. So you're probably wondering, how is this internal rotation? Internal rotation is this guy, right? That's internal rotation. Okay, so we got about another 90 seconds of holding, so I'm going to explain kind of what we're doing. So we're doing what we call stretch and strengthen, which means you stretch something for 2 minutes. Now why do we pick 2 minutes? Because science has shown us that if you hold a stretch passively, which is what we're doing right now for 2 minutes, you get a temporary increase in range of motion. Key word there is temporary, because after about an hour, 90 minutes, that temporary range of motion goes away, unless we strengthen in that new range of motion, which is what we're going to do with isometrics. So at the end of 2 minutes here, we got about 1 more minute left, we're going to start to do 2 actions. Action number 1 is you're going to act like you're trying to pull the rope apart, okay? You feel that connection, and then you're going to take your wrist bone and you're going to do that motion. It's not this, it's this. That's the difference. So we'll do that at like 30-40% of what you're capable of for 10 seconds. We'll relax, and then we have to do the opposite, which means you're going to crush your fists together, and you're going to attempt, it's not going to happen, to just try to lift your wrist like this, which is that internal rotation. That second part is not going to go very well, meaning you're just not going to feel connected to it, which is totally fine. It just takes practice. Don't worry, I'm going to go over all those details again before we get into this. Okay, we're about almost at 2 minutes, so make sure your shoulders are down, your elbows cannot move here. Squeeze your glutes, brace your abs, start to pull the rope apart. Feel that first and foremost. It shouldn't come apart because you have something that doesn't have any give. And now start to rotate both your wrists into your lower back, like 30-40%. And you should feel what was being stretched, being contracted now. You feel that? Okay, let's stay there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You're going to relax, make sure everything's good, crush your knuckles together, and now try to just lift off your lower back. But I don't want to see this. I want to just see hands, just make your wrist light off your lower back. It's like you're doing that motion as you push your knuckles together. And now when you do this, you should feel right across your mid-back, kind of in between your shoulder blades. For 5, 4, 3, 2, relax. You can probably get your hands a little higher up your back now. Now if you feel any pain or pinching, you want to stay below that pain line and do all this stuff at that position, not in the pain zone. All right, we're going to sit here for about another 20 seconds. Then we'll do that one more time, and then we'll come out of it. Now, when you do come out of this, your shoulder's going to feel a little raw because you're kind of in like uncharted territory, right? You haven't ever done anything here. You probably haven't been here in a while. It's a good thing. That means we have room to make tons of gains here. So now let's go round 2. So start to rip the towel apart, and now push into your lower back like 30-40% of what you're capable of. Don't get carried away here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, relax. Make sure your setup's good. Crush your hands together, and now try to lift off your lower back. Don't dive that head forward. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Just keep sitting up tall. One of the hardest things about this, guys, is you're going to want to do this, because this makes it feel easy, right? But that's not my shoulder. That's using my spine now. So just always make sure you're nice and tall and envision like you have like a pole in front of your face. Okay, we've done 2 rounds of 10 for both sides. We're going to come out of this. Let go of the towel or rope and let your hands just slide down your arms. Now don't freak out, you're okay. Everything just feels kind of strange. We're going to do this next thing, which is kind of like a shoulder rotation. So you're going to look at the inner elbow of both your shoulders, set those scabs, turn the elbows in, almost like you're pouring a pitcher out with both hands, and then turn the elbows out. So what is this? This is rotation of your shoulder, right? Remember how we talked about rotation is key? And so we're kind of like hitting save on what we're doing right now. So we just created more rotation with that stretch and that strengthen. And now we're just teaching our body and our nervous system what it is. We're kind of letting it use it, right? If we let him use it, he's going to be like, okay, I understand what this is now. Now he's going to let us keep some of that work that we just did. And you'll start to feel your shoulders kind of coming back to life. All right, guys, let's go retest that overhead position again. So when you go up, same thing. You should just feel like you got a little more space up there, okay? But don't get it twisted, though. You're not going to just have this magically huge new range of motion overnight. The body doesn't work that way, okay? So if you place these exercises in your training program 3 times per week with a day of rest in between, preferably at the end of your upper body days. And then, over time, your overhead flexibility will improve. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, so stick with it, and in a month, I'm guessing you'll notice some significant differences. I hope you guys found this coaching helpful, and if you have any questions, just comment below. And don't forget, if you want the full system to increase your overhead flexibility, along with how to use it in your current training program, then I definitely recommend checking out the Healthy Shoulders 10-day challenge where you get step-by-step instruction on what to do and when. It's in the link below, so check it out. Keep up the great work, and until next time, remember to be strong, be mobile.